Unit 5 is on inequalities, so we're starting off with one variable and we're going to get into two variable. But here's the biggies with one variable inequalities. You flip the inequality if you divide or multiply by a negative. All right, so highlight that, please. So flip if you divide or multiply by a negative. And that's what I'm going to ask every single time we do any step. I'm going to say, okay, did you divide or multiply by a negative? You need to flip it. Another thing is you need to have the variable on the left. And that's just good practice. We talked about that when we were solving equations, so this should be nothing new. Last thing, when graphing, so we're going to graph on a number line for one variable inequalities, but when graphing, if it is a less than or greater than, it's going to be an open circle. If it is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, it's a closed circle. Okay, and so really the only difference there, guys, is this, right? That equal sign under there. So if it has that equal sign under there, it's a closed circle. And I actually had a student my very first year say, well, Miss Beck, that reminds me, like, because he played football, that reminds me of a blocker. So he's not open for the pass, so he's closed. Okay, so that's actually how I think about it too now. Let's go ahead and do some examples. There's only 4, so not too bad. All right, so my first step is to add 3 on both sides. I draw my line, I stop. Did I divide or multiply by a negative? Let's go here. No, you just added. Therefore, you keep your inequality. Drop down your x over 2. Negative 4 plus 3 is a negative 1. My next step is to multiply both sides by 2. I draw my line, I stop. Did I divide or multiply by a negative? I multiply, but just by a positive. Therefore, I keep my inequality, and negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. When it comes to graphing, if it's a quiz or a test, I will give you a number line. So I look at it, I go to negative 2 because that's part of my solution. It's got the equal sign under there, therefore it's a closed circle. And since my variable is on the left, I can literally just look at this inequality as if it was an arrow. Do you see this as an arrow? So that is just going to be the way I go. So that's my solution. I go to the left. Next one. First step is to subtract 3 on both sides. I draw my line, I stop. Did I divide or multiply by a negative? No. So I keep my sign. Drop down your negative 3m. 9 minus 3 is 6. I divide both sides by negative 3. I draw my line. Stop. Did I divide or multiply by a negative? Yes, I divided both sides by a negative. Therefore, I flip my inequality. And then 6 divided by negative 3 is a negative 2. Now I'm going to go ahead. Oh, it's negative 2 again. How funny. Just like the last one. All right, 0, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2. I go to negative 2. This time it's open because I don't have that blocker there. And since my variable is on the left, I follow this inequality. I follow its arrow. So it's going to go to the right. Next one. This one is x minus 4 all over negative 2. Remember, if it's an all over, you start by getting rid of the denominator, by multiplying both sides by the denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 2. I draw my line, I stop. Did I divide or multiply by a negative? Yes. So I flip. Over here is x minus 4. Negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Okay, now I just need to add 4 on both sides. Draw my line. Did I divide or multiply by a negative? No, so I keep. Negative 14 plus 4 is negative 10. Now remember, you have to have the variable on the left. So here's x, Here's negative 10. The alligator's eating X, so the alligator needs to be eating X. And I like to box it in because a lot of times people go back to that top one, the negative 10 is less than X. Don't do that. So box in your solution. Okay, I'm going to go to negative 10. It's open because there's not that blocker. And then I follow the inequality. So it goes this way. Okay. And last one. Oh, by the way, guys, if you wanted to, so if you are one of those people that always forgets or you think you might forget to flip at the very end, you could actually start off, and I'll do it really quickly over here. You could actually start off by flipping it from the very beginning, the original. So x minus 4 all over negative 2. Over here you had 7. The alligator is eating 7, so the alligator is eating 7. We would do the exact same steps. Divide both sides by negative 2. You would flip. Add 4. Look, so those solutions are identical. Okay, so either you flip at the beginning or you flip at the end if your variable's on the right, whichever one you think works better for you. All right, so once again, you could flip this from the get-go. I just like to go ahead and start solving. So I subtract 20 on both sides, draw my line, stop! Did I divide or multiply by a negative? No, so I keep. Drop down your 5x. Negative 10 minus 20 is a negative 30. And now I divide both sides by 5. Did I divide or multiply by a negative? No, I just divided by a positive, so I keep. And negative 30 divided by 5 is negative 6. Once again, I have to have my variable on the left. Alligator's eating the x. Alligator needs to eat the x. Okay. I go to negative 6. It's got this blocker, so it's going to be closed. And then I can just follow the arrow, and it's pointing to the right. So, whoop. Okay. One last one, because I just want to go ahead and select all possible solutions. And we'll do, I don't know, 10 minus 2m is less than negative 40. Zero, 1, negative 10, 40, negative 20. Actually, we don't need this many. Let's take off that. Sorry. Erase it. You can leave it blank. I don't care. Negative 20, and let's do 100. Okay. So I would take my inequality up here, and I would just go ahead and solve it. So I subtract 10. I keep. Divide by negative 2. I flip, because I divided by negative. And this is my solution, okay? I know y'all are going to get upset with me, but just bear with me. Add this back on. Miss Beck, are you serious? Yes, I am. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, so now, this is what it's not saying, hey, what's your solution? It's saying to select all possible solutions. So I start with 0, and I just plug it in to the m, the variable. So remember, the alligator has to eat the bigger number. Is 0 greater than 25? No. So that's not a solution. Now I would plug in negative 10. Is negative 10 greater than 25? Is the alligator eating the bigger number? No. Negative 20 greater than 25? No. 25 greater than 25? They're equal, but not greater. 1 greater than 25? No. 40 greater than 25?